As you can see, these guys don't know what they're doing.
Okay guys, we're 10 minutes out.
Okay, it's time for the final decision. Is everyone out of the tab?
Guys, how about looking into B2B marketing?
Hello? No problem.
Gas is going up 25 cents. Watch out, 5U.
Can I have more concept test?
Hello, management team. Welcome to Firm B, the fast-com company in the industry. We are a luxury premium brand focusing on high margin, low quantity, and we are targeting singles, high-income individuals, and enterprise segment. Our product lineup started with Fuzzy, Volvo, and View, and we have put a lot of resources in developing 5 new vehicles, namely Batmobile, Built Different, Blue Yeti, Fuji, and Beehive.
As the chief engineer, my job is to design the perfect product for our designated microsegment while keeping cost and margins at check. By looking at data from focus group and microsegment, you can get a big picture of the ideal car you want to design. I know it is tempting to max out all your attributes and to design the absolute best car in terms of specs, but it is also important to keep your profit margins in check and in alliance with your company strategy. You can adjust cost by manipulating attributes, car size, and horsepower. You can also get an idea of the priorities of each attribute through focus group and conjoint analysis. Make sure to consider products in similar vehicle class when entering an emerging microsegment, as they will become the immediate competitors when that market emerges. Also, lastly, make sure that the volume of the market you're entering is high enough to justify your investment. Dominating a microsegment with little volume is meaningless, and the company money should be used on projects that generates the highest NPV.
Be customer-centric in product designs and back up product decisions with marketing data. Understand our customers' needs, utilize data from various marketing tools, including focus market, concept tests, and conjoint analysis, to design and maintain the perfect product. By launching with a best-in-class product and focusing on attributes that matter most to our customers, ISSQ, horsepower, and size, we can hedge against the effects of our premium pricing and still win 30 to 40% of the market share. For example, during our reconfiguration of Butte, we made sure to get the vehicle size as the priority, followed by microsegment leading ISSQ, right to counterbalance our premium MSRP.
Okay team, another year has passed, so let's take the next 20 minutes to review the economic outlook, any micro segments and focus group results that may have changed. And then let's also take a look at what tests we want to run and what major upgrades we're going to need next year.
Sounds good.
For focus group, always look out for market changes. And in terms of microsegment, watch out for price and size changes year over year. And when you're reviewing focus group, do not compare your competitor outside of your microsegments.
I would say never stray from a strategy and pick microsegments carefully. Only choose customers, microsegment, and vehicle lines that leverage our company's competitive advantage. For example, because our strategy focuses solely on customer segment that appreciate premium high-end vehicle that are willing to pay above market pricing, we only devote our vehicle development resources for high-income and enterprise segments. This allows us to attain 30 to 40% of gross margins and approximately 30% unit contribution margins.
product manager for Built Different. Do you need any tests and any upgrades this year?
Yes, so I need a major upgrade.
Okay.
So that will be 1 conjoint analysis, 2 concept tests, and 2 test markets.
Got it.
And this is because from last year our price range have gone up and the size have gone down, and also we are no longer market leaders. Our closest competitor is really similar to our product, so we need to differentiate ourselves.
Do you really need that much though?
Bitch, please.
From a financial perspective, we need to balance out each product line's need in proportion to the financial return of the entire portfolio. Our decision-making criteria for allocation of resources take into each product line's current and forecasted margin, revenue, and volume, along with its relative risk in industry as a result of competition both this year and for the years to come. My analysis shows that other products have more pressing needs for these developmental spots. So I suggest to hear out other managers and the product status and projection before assigning out these resources.
Okay, let's hear from other product managers then.
Okay, great. For now, leave this as a question mark, and we'll move on to the next product manager.
We need to identify and prioritize high margin, high volume, and market share vehicle leaders with sustainable competitive advantages. We prioritize resources allocation to these leaders, balancing the needs of all product lines with a synthesis of all internal and external information. For example, with Basi, since we were the only sports vehicles manufacturer in the industry, there was no immediate competition within 3 years post-launch, as our competition needed to develop new sports vehicle lines to compete with our segment. We prioritize our resources to maximize our first mover's advantage and solidify our lead with continuous attribute improvement, make it very difficult for our competitors to compete with Basi. The early strategic decision to prioritize Basi yields significant financial returns, and in later years we were able to relocate resources to other pressing product lines based on the same decision-making criteria, as a market condition changes. A balanced approach that focuses on the collective success of our entire portfolio is paramount to sustaining competitive advantages.
Looking at total shareholders' return, the first thing we look at is how we're doing in comparison to the industry firms. We look at the net income, cumulative income, gross margin, stock price, and market share values. After looking at the numbers and analyzing the landscape, we then analyze to see if we're on track for overall strategy. We look at if our products have an overall 30 minimum % unit contribution margins. And we also look at our market share per each of the products to see if we're positioned correctly. We then analyze our cash flow to see if there's a trend and address need to take on additional debts if necessary. We then anticipate our financial performance based on the current landscape and the competition's response for the next couple of years. And then we decide how much dividends we need to give out. So after we figure out how much financial resources to assign for each of the product lines based on its needs, we then look at its effect on our overall ratios, and these are the ratios that we look at.
When in doubt, always overstock your product inventories. In terms of manufacturing, it's best to overstock inventories rather than understock because we are a low volume, high margin player. The negative impact of revenue and subsequent profit loss greatly overshadows the write-off costs from leftover inventories. Once we have continuous sales trend data, we can reliably forecast sales if we deploy our core strategies and tactics to control our days in inventory and maximize our financial returns.
Trudell here. Well, you get a good look at it here, and I believe it's Clemens who makes the hit. It's an all or nothing play here to keep him short. And that's Mike Clemens shaken up. Well, he sacrificed himself to try and get a win.
Recession, economic recession. Just like how Remy got tackled, a lot of unpredictable things can happen in the marketplace, such as economic recessions or new market entrants. Here's a key insight that we gained. Be a predictive strategic leader rather than a reactive market follower. From year 4 to 6, market conditions were extremely volatile. This is mainly due to the introduction of new vehicles into our existing microsegments from competition, which drastically altered the competitive landscape. The key insight we gained from this experience is that risk mitigative and predictive measures are always more effective than post-event damage control and reactionary tactics. Between years 7 to 10, we made a conscious shift to be a predictive strategic leader, which involves preemptive analysis of our competitors' strategies, target markets, and overall trends. The utilization of these data points help our firm maintain sustainable profits and market dominance.
As socially responsible executive, it's critical to stay ahead of upcoming environmental regulations. Take ownership for creating a positive impact on Mother Nature and the communities in which you operate in. In year 4, we were subject to an external audit of our production and office facilities that found that while we were still within the legal limits, we were polluting several times above what health organizations suggested. In the interest of our bottom line, we chose the cheapest fix. However, we got punished several years afterwards. You must go the extra mile ahead of time when the well-being of your community and your workers is at stake. Furthermore, when you're doing a decision-making process, you have to foster an environment which allows for a diversity of opinions and where people feel comfortable expressing those opinions. You should not veer away from hot topics, because as long as you can keep your emotions under control, that's how you make the best possible decision as a group that will allow your company to continue to grow in the best way possible. Thank you very much for taking over from us. We've had a great time. We put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and I think you'll be proud of the company we've left for you, and we hope that we'll be proud of what you do with it in the next decade. Take care.